And I'm not a dummy neither. So I know that Poetic Flaco, somebody that's not from this land, somebody that's not from this world, has been given free ring to post whatever he wants for some reason. And I'm gonna tell you something, bro. Like Poetic Flaco, you lost your pass too, my dog. I don't know who hired you here. I don't know who told you that it's okay for you to do that shit, but we abide by the laws of the street, my dog. So all that shit you doing is not gonna be tolerated. This ain't Chicago. This ain't New York. You are not academics. You're not gonna do to our streets what academics did to other communities. Because we're smarter than them, my dog. You feel me? And these bonds that we have are real. You know what I'm saying? And ain't no individual gonna manipulate that. And that's why we're here. We're here with respect, diligence. We're here with class to just show and demonstrate like how serious it can get, dog. Because we are not by any stretch of imagination trying to take it there, fool.
Yeah.
It's not our agenda. Our agenda.
Hi guys, so I just wanted to come and touch on this topic really fast. I really don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I saw this, I guess, maybe 2 weeks ago now, because Tariq Nasheed was in one of his videos, which wasn't necessarily about this, but he did touch on this guy, American Cholo, who's here on YouTube. And I've said that before. There's a lot of stuff going on here on YouTube. It's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of isms. I also feel like the guy is clout chasing a little bit. I definitely feel like he wants to pick with the Tariq Nasheeds of the world for exposure. And I think that this is why he's trying to create these conversations where there really is no conversation. Number one, there's really no conversation because Tyga is not African American. Yet people want to throw out all these derogatory phrases and saying it, and talk about fried chicken and Martin Luther King and collard greens and sweet potato pie and all that stuff. They want to kind of target the African American community while they're talking to somebody that's Jamaican. He's not the African American community. His origin is Jamaican. To my understanding, that's what they say online, and his mother is Vietnamese. So when you're speaking to him, you should be speaking to him culturally based on who he is. Don't bring us up, because that don't have nothing to do with us. And this is where the problem comes in with that radio station, because even if this little ignorant guy that's here on YouTube didn't want to do his research to really direct his conversation to Tyga in the proper way, the radio station should have done that. And I grew up in Los Angeles. I was there when there was no Power 106. Okay, and when I was growing up there, there wasn't really tensions between black and Mexican people, because the Mexican population wasn't what it is today, and that's a part of it as well. It wasn't what it is today. So I think people are they got their chests out and a little gassed up because of the numbers. But the foundation of a West Coast hip hop, because I see people going in and trying to claim that all these Spanish speaking people are on the East Coast. And it's what's funny about all these quote unquote Spanish speaking people that's on the East Coast, they don't stand up in their identity. The Fugees stood up, and obviously they are Haitians with the name refugees, right? And then I think who else? It was a couple people. Busta Rhymes says that he's Jamaican. It was a couple people, but as far as you guys saying the foundation, we don't know that. I don't know that, because those people were not out saying I'm Jamaican, I'm Haitian, I'm this, I'm that. And then I didn't know all these people were Spanish speaking, but even if they are Spanish speaking, whatever they are, they need to stand up in their truth of who they are and tell their stories the right way, because people are putting all these people in this African American box. as in the black people of this soil, excuse me. And so when people want to do all the negativity and the nasty talking, they're directing it to our people, to my ancestors. You see, and you need to be directing your language and all that stuff you talking and popping to the correct communities. And so that's where the issue comes in, and that's where the racism comes in. You know, because people are trying to use Tyga as a front to say a bunch of racist stuff to black folk, to African Americans, people of this soil. And that's not getting past us. And that's where the problem comes in at. You know, and so people had to let the radio station know this guy is racist. He's on here calling people coons and calling people all these names and stuff. And then he talking about acting like he know the definition of it. But the truth of the matter is, you calling him a coon just makes you sound racist, because it's not going to have the same effect if a black person is calling, you know, a coon. You know, it doesn't have the same effect. Right, if a black person is saying that to him, then that's when it means something. But when somebody else is saying it from outside of our community, that just makes you racist. Just like y'all using the N-word, and y'all shouldn't be using it. When it's controversy among us as black folks using it, nobody else outside of our community should be using that word. But then y'all want to talk about cultural appropriation. Let's talk about it, right? Like, people are appropriating our culture. And black people don't seem to have a problem with that, right? Because we are the world. We want to be riding on a caravan of love. And that's slave mentality. That is a footstool mentality that's pushing that. And I think a lot of people get that, and that's why they kind of push over black folk. And then a lot of this stuff, like I said, if these people are all this stuff that y'all claim they are, then they should stand up in their identity and say who they are. Yeah, I think Peppa from Salt and Pepper, she's Jamaican. She's always maintained that she's Jamaican. But who all these other folk, I don't know them. And people have to also understand, when you grew up on the West Coast, you was into West Coast hip hop, because we didn't have all this social media. Okay? And I'm not saying that we didn't like the Curtis Blows and whoever else was out there, but everybody showed pride to their side. Okay, so when you're trying to pretend like black folk didn't start West Coast hip hop, yes they did. It was Uncle Jab's Army, Bobby Jimmy, the Egyptian Lover. This is the Foundation, okay? World Class Wrecking Crew, which Dre was a part of before he became a part of NWA. DJ Quick. Then you had NWA and DJ Quick come in, and the DOC and all the other people that were coming from Ruthless Records. You know, so the foundation of hip hop that made it popular, that they wanted to put people who wanted to start radio stations, was black. Those artists were black. So we are the foundation of West Coast hip hop, okay? And I'm only speaking for West Coast. I don't know what was going on in the East Coast. Like I said, if all these people are all this stuff, then they need to own who they are. Because I think a lot of them was hiding behind this black box, like Tyga was clearly doing. And the other thing that's funny to me about this whole thing, about this video, is that there are other Hispanic people in the video. And I don't know if they're Mexican or not. I'm assuming that they are, if the video was filmed in California. Why y'all not mad at them for doing the video? Exactly. So yeah, like I'm saying, this guy is using this to create like fake racial tension between black and I guess Mexican people. And like I said in another video, when I was talking about something completely different in a completely different community, black people, African American black people of this soil, we mind our business and we don't disrespect folk culture and stuff. Like we don't sit around talking about y'all. So that's a lie, number one. And like I said, Tyga not us. Okay, so you need to direct whatever you feeling about Tyga to Tyga and his community, because he's not us. And I don't care where he was born. I don't care if the Jamaican is a black Jamaican or whatever. I don't care. He's not us. Okay, so please direct his whatever you feeling towards him, because obviously he's doing the stuff that he's doing because of those reasons that have something to do with his community that he knows, because we don't do that. We don't get in y'all business, and y'all know that. We do not get in your business. And so you're just trying to strike up a conversation to stir up some problems because you just want to do that. And so you would just use anybody that you can find to do that, because if you would have Googled Tyga's name, his information comes up and it says what he is. Okay, and so you cannot possibly think that that has anything to do with fried chicken and greens and collard greens and derogatory racist terms that came from slave times and segregation in this country, to use towards Tyga. See, Tyga don't feel nothing about you saying all that stuff, because that's not his history, and that's my point. So you shouldn't be directing all of that nonsense and all of that stuff to Tyga, or pretending like that he's connected to whatever it is that you're trying to say. So is that part. Let me know what you guys think about this. I agree with Tyreek. Like, I'm kind of ready to exit this black box and let these folk have it. Um, because it's just getting too weird and too stupid. And like I said, as far as I know, anybody at the foundation of hip hop came from black music of this country, from the influences of James Brown, because everybody was sampling James Brown, from Biz Markie to whomever else. They were sampling, just like The Dream was just trying to explain, they were sampling black music from the 70s and 80s, okay, and the 60s. So cut it out, please, okay? And the majority of mainstream music have always been black folk in this country. Please know the history, okay? Please know the history before you start talking. That's it, and that's all. Let me know what y'all think about all this nonsense. Do you guys get it? The guy's really clout chasing, because I feel like he's just trying to make a name for himself. He probably looked at the way Tyreek made his name for himself for race baiting. But see, Tyreek race baits with his own people. He brings up things that's going on to us to incite emotions from people that look like him. Okay, he's doing all this talk about these these other quote unquote other, because Tyga should have, if he was really down with the African American of this country, he should have been checking foods, okay? But I ain't even going into that, because it's neither here nor there. As long as everybody understand, he's not us. I think that he's just trying to follow the blueprint of a Tariq Nasheed by race baiting, and for whatever reason he wants to do that with black folk, because maybe he feel like we're gonna help him get the numbers or whatever. But people can also help you get your channel taken down. Okay, so you might want to tread lightly with some of that stuff that you're over there saying, and I think that you can contact people if you want to debate them in a more positive way. You don't have to come with this negativity and stuff and threatening people and all of that, because that's not going to go too far, because people definitely will, now that they are finding out who you are, start reporting you to YouTube every time they hear you saying some of this crazy stuff that you're saying, because you don't really have a right to. You're not supposed to be on this platform and all that hateful rhetoric. No one cares if you don't like black people. You don't have to like us. I know I don't care, but like I said, we don't be in y'all business like that to concern ourselves with how you feel. So you need to roll up out of ours. And if you have a problem with Tyga, then you have a problem with Jamaicans, and you have a problem with Vietnamese people. Okay? Leave fried chicken and cornbread and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Angela Davis and whoever else out of your conversation. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Community, because let you right here, because you might have had a track record that's going to be a little bit problematic when it comes to conversations with the black community. Because let me tell you something, Gil, I didn't just see that clip. I didn't just see that one. I also don't feel like anybody should feel comfortable with the N-word, with the hard ER, with it in any capacity. However, with the hard ER, I don't give a fuck if you were quoting someone who was quoting someone who was quoting someone. It just wouldn't feel comfortable, and it wouldn't sit right with my spirit to say it. You feel me? So the fact that it just rolls off the tongue like that is a little bit disheartening, because I feel like we already have a lot of animosity within the communities that I feel like it should be a lot better. You know what I mean? And by the way, like, for anybody that's going to be commenting right now, I feel like my problem was I made a comment on something that you could have very well hit me up.